It's a great pleasure for us this afternoon. We are here to witness Qualcomm Cloud World premiere of all-in-one devices. I'm the host, Cindy Sen. Thanks for joining us. Next, I'm pleased to announce that Qualcomm Cloud New Product Conference begins now. First, announcing the arrival of our guest of honor for today. Mr. Peter Hsieh, the CEO of Arm Taiwan. Mr. David Wu from Chunghwa Telecom. Mr. Xianrong Zheng, Bogen Capital Senior Partner. Mr. Joseph Situ, journalist of Los Angeles Times. Mr. Fu Li, the founder and CEO of Qualcomm Cloud. Mr. Nan Zhao, VP of Strategy of Qualcomm Cloud. Let's give those special guests a big round of applause. Thank you, Mr. Li, for that wonderful. First, welcome Qualcomm Cloud CEO Fu Li to deliver the opening remarks.
Thanks everyone to join our event today. It is really a great pleasure for us to have all you guys here today. Yeah, and also, how can I say that? I come from Silicon Valley. I come from China many 10 years ago, and I spent like 10 years in the United States. And then I started my company for Qualcomm Cloud, and then it's really a great pleasure for me to come here at MAB. MAB is one of the best show in the world, not just the US, it's in the world. And so, again, it's very great pleasure for you guys to come here to work with us to share our experience in the content creation industry. And my name is Fu Li, as you can see in that place. And my company called Qualcomm Cloud. The full name is the Qualcomm Cloud Future Beijing Technology. We are a Beijing-based company, and we have many people from the Silicon Valley and also the people from the content industry. So the first question it always comes to many people will ask me that why I call my company is the Qualcomm Cloud. So actually, this is a very interesting question is to many people, even today, because most of you guys may read from the paper, like the newsletters about quantum. Quantum is really a very fascinating word. Even today, no people really knows what is quantum is. Even I spent about 5 years to start in this area. 10 years ago. And I received a PhD from Wisconsin Madison, but still I do not know what is quantum, So when people ask me about what is quantum, I always say that actually everything comes from this equation, This is the equation that people solve for centuries. And I spent, like I said, 5 years, 10 years ago, I spent 5 years to solve this problem. And even today, the most smartest guys in the world are still trying to solve this equation. So, and everything comes from this equation. And then to solve this equation, we need a very good tools to do this. And as people can see, I think this is very familiar. This is really. I don't know whether people know this one, okay? This is water. Yeah, this is water. This is a water molecule. Yeah. It's a system I started for 5 years in Madison. And this is a GPU, and it's a very hot stuff, right? Very, very hot devices. Almost everybody knows this because of the GPU computing and also because of the blockchain and all the Bitcoin. And when I was in college, we used the GPU to do quantum computing and simulation. And then Actually, right now, a lot of people use this to do the content production, especially for the VFX movies, like Avenger. This is one of the biggest movie in the world, and they spend about like $100 million on the GPU to do this calculation, like the rendering. So today, I start my company. I want to combine the GPU computing and also the content production together. So that's why we call us the Quantum Cloud, especially as we use another like technology with the CUDA, HPC, and the Quantum, and some, MPIs. So I just say why we call us Quantum Cloud, because of first one, everything they start from one equation. To solve great problems, we need great tools. We are a cloud company for content creation. So go to the background about the cloud. What is the cloud? So many people talk about cloud, in many ways. So quantum cloud, we talk about cloud in industrial cloud. It's the future. And that's our ambition and also our, we think the industrial cloud will be the future. The reason why the industrial cloud will be the future is that with the popularity of cloud, actually more and more people they use cloud right now. People use like WeChat, like Snapchat, right, and also like the Facebook. That all of these applications are based on the cloud. So many people they know cloud very well, and many verticals like the industries they start to know cloud computing. However, for different industries, they have different requirements for their computing infrastructure. So right now, nowadays, it is really hard for one general solution to solve all the problems at once. So one general solution has become very inefficient and also is really slow to change. Actually, it's not slow to change because it's really hard to change because it's too heavy. So Quantum Cloud, we think that in the future, we need to combine the application with the infrastructure. That's what we call industrial cloud. So start at actually since 2006, when Amazon, they launched their web service, like AWS, we saw cloud. It's a game changing. It is the birth of cloud computing in the world. And about 10 years development, many people, especially for the big players that get into this area, like Google, Google Cloud, GCE, Google Cloud Engine, and also like Microsoft, Azure. Of course, in China, the Ani Cloud, Ani from Alibaba, they are one of the major players as well. So for this kind of cloud computing, they focus on the general purpose computing. They provide the general purpose cloud computing for everybody, everywhere. However, we found that, as I said, when more industries go to cloud, they found that it's not cheap, it's very expensive. The reason the cloud is very expensive today is that because it's very heavy, just because it's heavy, because one cloud provider, they have to support all different applications. Turns out to be that the platform itself is very expensive. So we think that, in nowadays, especially 3 years ago in China, we worked with some big players in the industry, especially the content industry, like the VFX industry. We found that, if we optimize our computing infrastructure with the application, we can reach a very good cost-effective cloud infrastructure. That's what we call the industry cloud. And with this kind of strategy, we can promote the industry evolution very well. So that's what we think that in the future, in the cloud area, that the cloud will become like a more dedicated cloud, like a special cloud, like the industrial cloud. Maybe like some cloud for the IoT, like for the smartphones, and also for the connected cars, and some cloud for the AI. I think this is pretty hard as well. Everybody talk about the AI right now, and the people found that the AI cloud in Amazon is very expensive, and a lot of people they develop their own AI cloud. and also for the DNA sequencing, and as well as the medium cloud we will talk about today. So we think about that these trends for the professional application with the cloud infrastructure is very similar to in the IT time, like with Google, they just combine the software and the hardware together. And right now in the cloud area, people just combine the software as a service with the infrastructure as a service together. So we can reach a cost-effective cloud architecture. So if we have a broad picture about the industry, they can, we can divide it into like 4 main parts, right? That's the competitor analysis. So we can think about, okay, if we can say like cloud, and then like a hyper-converged, like all-in-one solution as one direction, and then another like professional and technology at another direction. So we can see that if one cloud, like AWS, actually AWS is really good, is really good cloud provider, but AWS they do not have too many professional like know-how into the platform, so they are really good. Actually, right now you can see, as I said, many people get into this cloud world, right? No people can make it. Actually, they're really hard to make money, except that they are really big. So AWS, we call it red region, it's not very good market right now. And also Ali Cloud, they are one of the follow to AWS, so it's very hard for them to make money as well. And for the content industry, I think one of the very familiar players is Zinc. Zinc is very good. I think it's very good. Zinc, they are formed by a group of people with very good professional knowledge about the rendering. And then they move the rendering from the traditional render forms to the cloud rendering. And then, they got bought by Google several years ago with like $1 billion. The reason I think Google will buy them because they are very professional and they have a lot of technology in the specific industry. And similar to that is Adobe. Adobe is a very good, is a well-established company to make like rendering software and also like some like content software. However, because Adobe is a software company, it's not a cloud company, so we put it here. But they still make money. Think Adobe and the Sans Cloud Startup, they all have their professional advantage and then they can make money. In other way, if people think about the more like device, like a converged, like all-in-one solution, one is the Nutanix. Nutanix actually is very hot, right? Very hot company right now, but they do not have too many like professional, as I said, professional know-how into their platform. But they can make, they're very good right now. And another one is Microsoft, the Surface, right? The laptop actually is all-in-one solution as well. So we, Quantum Cloud, we want to do something that combine both the all-in-one solution as well as the professional and technology together. So that's why we position us as an integrator and also like a combiner of the professional cloud provider. So this is our management team. In our company, we have like 3 major parts. One is the research development. Second one is the product and the factory. Actually, yes, we have a factory, like a manufacturing factory. Just recently, we worked with the government to have one. And then we have a group of people that have very good industry knowledge. They can do the industry operations. Actually, they come from a producer. They was a producer, and also they are the TD. They was a TD when they joined before they joined Quantum Cloud. So we group the people from both the IT part and also the people from the content area together to make an industry cloud for the content industry. So we define us. We are the world lead. Actually, we are the first people to work with this, like the application center industry cloud provider. So we integrate both the professional knowledge, like know-how, with the high performance infrastructure. Actually, we work with both ARM, Intel, and also NVIDIA, AMD. to provide the disruptive products for computing and storage intensive vertical industry, such as like content creation, artificial intelligence, and also the Internet of Things. So when it comes to NAB, actually we are really old friends with NAB, about 3 years. In 2016, when NAB show, they go to China. Actually, they go to China the first time at almost 3 years, 2 years ago. And we partnered with Margareta. At that time, she was the VP of NAB show. And also Mr. Yin, the VP, actually the president from China side, the TCDIC together. So we work with them to host a forum. In that forum, we put some people, we group people from the content industry together. In that session, we have both the people from the technology side, like cutting edge computing technology, and also the people, artists, like producer, and also the people like the management from the industrial park, as well as the VR people and the VFX, like post-production people, not just in China, but also in US. We invite people from Crytek, and also we invite people from Unreal. And also like Firestone, it's famous right now. So we put all the people together in China because we think, NAB show is one of the famous show. They want to put the content production and content creation industry together. So we want to put the people not just from the technology background, but also the content background together. We want them to react and then to get more product and more insight into this industry. So when we go to talk about what is really the VFX, what is the post-production in this industry? So why this is very popular right now? So actually, if we talk about the post-production, maybe the word is a little bit, the word looks a little bit hard to understand. It's easy to understand. The post means after production, right? But actually, this kind of industry is a mystery, in most of the big movies, like the Captain America, like Transformers, almost all the characters, they are not shot by the real scenario. Actually, they are animated by people, like by IT people, like by engineers. They work on the modeling this world. Use pure computers. And in the real world, they shoot everything in front of a green studio, it's like we call it virtual studio. Then actually you can see, and if you go to the studio, you can see how they shoot the movie. It's really funny. It's really funny. You can see some people just hold something, and then it becomes like Transformers. It becomes like Captain America. So in this area, the people spend a lot of their effort on computing and also a lot of effort for rendering. So it turns out to be that almost the top 10 most sold movies in the worldwide, they're all made by computers. And this is really fantastic, especially like I said, the Transformers. They are all sold, they're all made by the computers. And in other way that in China there are many some players to do this kind of industry. As I said, our company, we want to put the people from different backgrounds together. So we partnership with China, it's similar to Hollywood in China. They want to promote the post-production industry. They call it Dachang, it's near Beijing. And also the CPPA, the China Post-Production Association, a group of companies are our customers together. And also the Wuxi Studio. This is one of the earliest industrial park. They want to put the post-production industry together. Actually, it's our first customer in China, and we work with them to explore that how can we optimize the infrastructure with for the content industry. So some other companies like BaseFX and also they are the partner with the ILM, and also like CVR TV is a VR association, and some other like people that make like the best movies in China. Actually, they make the best movies in the world as well. So we partner with them to do the content the industry cloud. So with all the partners together, we have one of the, very important, as I said, we are the people we want to bridge the technology with the content industry. In the content industry, Hollywood and also Hollywood and LA, they are the best. They have really good like content, like producers and like artists. But in other way, we like to work with like computing companies like Intel, like ARM, like NVIDIA. Among the computing history, there's one company, they are really good. They are the industry architect of all the computing. So I will introduce our very good friends and also our partnership, the ARM, to talk about their strategy in the content industry.
Thank you, Dr. Lee. My name is Peter Shea. I'm going to share with you some our perspective how the industry is moving ahead, particularly the content industry. Let me go back. As we stand, we are in one of the most exciting moments in the high-tech industry. A lot of things are changing. I think just recently, back right before Christmas, you hear that Qualcomm announced the Windows 10 PCs, and it was actually shown here in this CES show a couple months ago. And soon after that, you see that just 3 days ago, Apple announced that they're going to change their Mac from Intel x86 architecture to ARM. Why is all this change? And of course, Microsoft previously announced that Azure Cloud, 50% of that will be using ARM. The reason for all these changes now is because there's a lot of new applications. There are many new applications, VR, MR, content, advanced robotics, drone, logistics, autonomous driving. It goes on and on and on. And all these new applications require very efficient architectures, cost efficient, power efficient, and at the same time enabling AI technologies on top of this architectures. So a new PC, if you look at the Qualcomm's new PCs, it lasts for 22 hours. First model, 22 hours, as opposed to 8 hours. That's only the beginning. It costs 30% less, but you will enable AI very soon. You can do a lot of AI applications on that kind of computer. So this is the beginning of another, perhaps the biggest wave of change transforming the industries. So all this list of applications, you will see new processors, new accelerators dedicated for the application to support the growth. This is what we're talking about. So this slide shows the landscape of the computing. The left-hand side is the edge. Here you see the mobile device like a smartphone, PCs, TVs, and couple 20, 25 billion units of IoT devices. In the middle is the network. In the right-hand side is the data center. The data goes back and forth. For content industry, it's a data creation is a content creation process on the right, and that content will be delivered to a lot of users, millions and millions of users. For IoT and smartphone and intelligent devices on the left, you will be producing this big data, and somehow this big data has to be transported over the network to data centers. What we are observing is that any applications that I showed in the last slide, it creates so much big data that transporting across the network is a big problem. And that's why in the middle, you see that we have this C's and A's and S. It stands for computing, accelerations, and storage in all nodes to process in between, to make sure that you process right after you get the big data so that the data can be carried forward to the data center and vice versa. If you don't do that, there's no way we can contain the data. Think about one car with 10 cameras. The camera is 1K by 1K resolution, 1 million pixels. And it's 30 frames a minimum per second. So that's 30 million pixels times the color depth times 8 to 10 cameras. That data in one car needs to be transferred to a cloud. That's huge data. And if you multiply that by tens of thousands of cars, imagine how much data you need to transfer. AR, VR, the same thing. For healthcare, the genome sequencing, all kinds of healthcare applications. We're also dealing with big data. So the problem is not it's not particular to one application. It's common for the whole industry. And for the data center in particular, we're observing another problem, that we are already reaching the limit of heat dissipation. So even you have the power to power the data center, we cannot dissipate the power. Okay? And on top of that, every 100 watt that you burn, it takes 140 watt to cool down by application. It's law of physics. So that's why you see that Microsoft with their data center under the water. And so is Alibaba, and so is many other huge data centers. We just cannot keep up with the cooling of the data center. So here I summarize what we are seeing in the computing industry. First, Moore's law is getting to an end. We are today, the leading edge is 10 nanometer. It's very exciting. Companies like Samsung, Intel, TSMC, they are reaching out to 7 nanometer in 2018 mass production. In about 5 to 7 years, we'll get to 5 nanometer, 3 nanometer, and that's about the end of Moore's law. But we're seeing that the big data applications in AI are just kicking off. We just get to enough power to do all this computing. So what happens when you get down to the end of Moore's law and you need all that computing for the next wave of applications? It seems to be a big dilemma. And AR, VR, autonomous driving, genome sequencing are three top computing intensive big data applications. Genome sequencing, 3 billion base for every cell. And you know how many cells you need to analyze. That's a huge amount of data you need to capture. And so goes for the autonomous driving. And one server for all applications is simply not efficient. You build one box that try to fit for all these applications, which are very different by nature. That's just not very efficient. And data is already hit dissipation and etc. So what we see is you need to keep this power profile constant. And within the constant power profile, you need to increase the computing performance year after year by maybe 5, 10 times. So same thing happening in mobile device, your cell phone. Think about it 5, 6 years ago. The CPU, the GPU computing power has increased by 300-fold, but the battery stays the same. We need to do the similar things for data center. You need to boost up the performance, perhaps not by 300 times, but by 5,000, 10,000 times, and yet keep the power profile almost same. How do we do that? This slide shows a open system architecture. I use ARM as an example because I'm coming along, but it can be any CPUs. You can see CPUs, big cores and little cores, and you see a big mesh bus in between, which is very high bandwidth, very low latencies. The important thing about this slide is it's an open architecture. It allows anybody's GPUs, NVIDIA's, AMD's, Intel, if they have one ARM's GPU from the left-hand side to be taught into the system. Any GPU that works best can be part of this system. But even more importantly, when you come to dedicated applications like content industry, like AIs, we can design and develop dedicated accelerator to support that particular applications and achieve efficiencies maybe 5 times, maybe 10 times. Like in many cases, we see up to 1 million times. Autonomous driving, for instance, if you reduce the heavy 3D map to what we call the signature-based map, the data set reduced by 1 million times, and we're doing trial. When you reduce the data by 1 million times, suddenly a lot of computing can be done in a lightweight processor. And if you, on top of that, do a lot of AI applications, you can build a very dedicated AI. You can apply the similar thought process to content creation, which is also very, very data heavy. Like video, people talk about mixed reality, VR, video. In the future, you can put the holographic marketing. The data will become even heavier, so you need advanced technology to process all of that. So here, the ARM server in particular was a dedicated accelerator starting to penetrate into the IoT vertical applications where cloud service and AI performance are the heavy one, and we can reduce the power consumption. The performance and the power consumption are the two key issues to resolve. And QCF has been working with ARM closely and optimize all the related AI and VR and rendering software to ARM. And for those tools where they don't have the source code, we are strategize how to get the source code to the server. And we have witnessed that they have already achieved very good performance at a much lower reduced power. And then by applying the domain knowledge, which is this special content production, we believe quantum cloud can further optimize the computing algorithm and the computing platform to attain even better performance while reducing the power, which is the problem that the industry is facing. And I think this is not in the very distant future. I think the way QCF has been progressing, for given another year or so, we have an entirely different cloud service platform resting on a very efficient computing platform. That's my thank you.
Thanks to Peter. Next, we're gonna enter the most thrilling moment. Let's welcome Mr. Lee back, and he's gonna announce 3 disruptive products.
Thanks for Peter's introduction about the collaboration with us on with Iconic Cloud. So right now, I'm trying to introduce like the specific and also like dedicated solution to media and entertainment industry from outside. So we call us like a media cloud, like I said, it's an industry cloud, and we want to redefine cloud computing for the content creation industry. So before we get into the details about how can we do that, actually, in Peter's talk, you can see actually he mentioned about edge. So what is the edge in the content creation, and in the edge in the content industry? In the traditional cloud, we have a data center, and we have core, and we have an edge, and we have an access point, and a terminal. So a device connects some data. The packet will come from the portable device to the access point and the edge and the core, and they are processed in the data center. As you can see, the data they moved a long way from where it generated and to where it get processed. So in quantum cloud architecture, we don't do that. We migrate our application from the data center to the edge. So we call it application-centric edge. So we call it ACEC. Next. This part. So when we migrate the application from the data center to the edge, the data collected from the portable device, actually like a workstation, like as a server, they can be processed just on the, at edge. It's much faster, and also, because of edge is cheaper. Edge is much cheaper than the data center. You can have an edge site in your own studio. So with this architecture, we can build up a very low, cost-effective, and very fast response cloud architecture. So our strategy to combine the cloud and the media together, the first one, we consider the scalability for the cloud. When we come to cloud, we all talk about like many servers, not just one server. The one server has no scalability. So we want the system is scalable, and also we want the system have very good performance, and otherwise we cannot make the big movies. And also, as one thing as is most important, like we want things that can be automatically scaled, automatically tuned by a fourth artist. So for the medium part, we want one thing that, what is medium? We want to render, right? We want to make the real picture, we want to make the real image for the content. And also, sometimes, we want to share our project across the world, not just in Hollywood, but also in maybe Tokyo, maybe in Taipei, maybe in Beijing. People need to do project management across the world. And also have some other professional applications, maybe editing and maybe storage and data transfer. And another thing that right now we want to add some AI into the content industry. So this is our infrastructure. We want to think about both the scalability, scalability, performance, automation, as well as professional application rendering and project management, along with AI. So in our architecture, actually is a cluster. We call it cluster oriented. We clusterize. More fashion word is containerize. We containerize application into a container, and then we deploy the container on our QoS. Our QoS is a resource management server. We can deploy our containerized application onto our platform, and we can reach scalability and fault tolerance, and also of course easy to management, and also automation, as well as we can have a very simplified infrastructure, as well as the tuned professional application. You can make the application really fast. In terms of rendering, you can do the rendering anywhere. It's not just locally in your studio, and also you can do the rendering on Amazon, on our public cloud, and also maybe in Tokyo and in Europe. So to achieve that, we virtualize all the software, like cluster management, and with a template automation algorithm to do that. So the advantage for this kind of like industry cloud, like media cloud, is that it is very professional. We just optimize our infrastructure according to rendering software, according to the storage, the medium and big file storage, according to the project management, the security. And also it's very high performance. We can optimize the software both on like Intel CPU, like NVIDIA GPU, and also like ARM's CPU to reach the best performance. And because we can choose different vendor, we can choose different platform, we can have very good cost effective. You can choose the best one for you, the best, cost effective for you. And also we add AI into this part. So, more generally, like we think the boundary between the traditional IT engineer and also the professionals, they will become, blurred. You cannot tell which one is a real IT people, which one is a real professional people to make the content. Many professional work in the content industry that has to be done, aided by computers. As I said, we cannot make transformers just by a workstation. We have thousands of servers, in the cloud to do that. And also in the other way, the best engineer, they have to know the professional knowledge to develop a very good application. If you want to do really good renderings, software, you have to know how to do rendering. You cannot just do coding to do that. So, Quantum Cloud, we want to make products to be simple, and we want to bridge between the professional people and also the IT people. And also we want to say, hey, you can use our product with or without any deep professional knowledge. So how it looks like, it will be IT thing. Actually, it is IT thing, It's pretty IT, very IT standard. So this is our all-in-one HCI product. We integrate our software platform into our machine. It's a standard server for the data center. You can just plug this into a data center, and then you have a website. You can become like random farm, and you can get access worldwide. If you want to increase your capacity, you just plug one more machine into a data center. You just need to plug one more machine into a data center, and then you can expand your capacity. So this is the very IT stuff. Maybe some people see this in the data center. And how? What happens if you go to studio? Some studios that do not have their own server rooms, that do not have their data centers. How it looks like? So we developed another one. Is a more like artist ones for the studio. You can buy this kind of machine. All the medium software, rendering, data storage, and the data content encryption, and also data transfer and the project management, all in one. You can use the Quantum Force to manage all your daily studio work. So, it looks pretty to me, and also it's very powerful and intelligent. And how powerful it is? Just last month, we collaborate with Amazon, the biggest and well-established public cloud provider worldwide. We put our Quantum Force to connect with their cloud, and then we get about 42 edge rendering farms globally. So actually, Peter just mentioned about the edge computing and also the cloud computing. The edge rendering farms is global. You can access to the edge rendering farms anywhere. Actually, if you visit our website, you can see 42 choices. If you are in Europe, you can choose Europe site. I think in Europe we have 10 sites, and also you can choose so there's nothing in China. Okay? You can choose in Tokyo, and also in India. And the more important, you can have many choices in USA. So when you use our edge rendering farms with our Quantum Force, you cannot just do the rendering locally in your studio, but also you can offload your computing to all the edge rendering farms on AWS. All the data transfer between the edge and also to your local quantum force are encrypted, and also no people can crack it. So this is, I will show you how to use this professional rendering quantum force medium later. So basically, you have choices like random forms, like we call edge random form. 42 is more than Amazon what they have. And then you upload your data and also your files into these forms and do the rendering anywhere. So as I said, besides the rendering itself, we want to add the AI into this product. So what is AI? Why do people we want to use AI in this industry? So when we make the content, we generate a lot of files. We not just by shooting, we also by modeling and also by rendering. We have tons of files in our system. So people cannot see that, by their eyes. It's really hard. So we want to learn the content by itself. So we develop what we call quantum force AI. And this is really cool stuff. You do not need to modify any infrastructure in your current IT, structure. You just need to plug into this machine, quantum force, into your system, into your network, and then add a storage into this website. And I will show you that later how to use this. And then it will automatically synchronize and also analyze your data inside your network. And then you can choose different model to do the AI. You can choose if you want to say something like improper content. In China, people don't like improper content, right? You can see that very easily. If you want to see some characteristic label in your content, they can do that for you as well. And also, in this quantum force AI, you can even change the color of your pictures according to your cartoon style. So I welcome you guys to our booth, and we'll show you more details about this product. And then this is another one. It's the quantum net data. This one, we solve the problem for the big file transfer between different sites. As we can see that right now, the content project, like the movie, is not localized. It's not localized business. It's global. For the people you shoot in Africa, you need to transfer your data from Africa to Hollywood. In Hollywood, the big studios, they will produce and also they will do premium rendering or a modeling on your content, and then they will distribute this content into small studios worldwide. They will maybe ship some content to China, some content to Korea, and some content to India, and each part of this small groups, small studios, they will make their own movies, they will make their own content, and then they need to transfer the data back to the Hollywood, to the LA, and then the big studios to reassemble the data together. So with this kind of business, you have a device to protect your data and also transfer your data globally. So that's why we develop the quantum net data. In this product, you just need to add the box, the quantum net data box in different locations, and then they will become a self-consistent, decentralized storage system. And then whenever you upload the data into one storage, they can share across the loads you want them to share. And then the speed is really fast. It's decentralized, so it's very safe. And this is shows how to use.
This is a 7x4 all self-service rendering cloud platform, providing both CS and BS service models. It integrates named data networking technology in the end by networking storage and render clusters, and elastically scaling out storage and performance, making them shareable to provide large-scale computing resources. First, Let's enter the platform. Our rendering platform has 5 appealing features. Cross-platform access. It supports Mac, Windows, Linux, and mobile devices, and allows users on different operation systems to access and submit rendering tasks efficiently. Multi-region rendering cluster. Quantum Cloud Future has globally 56 MVM and rendering clusters in 14 regions with large-scale storage and computing resources. Hybrid cloud rendering. Users can connect their private cloud rendering platform seamlessly to Quantum Cloud Future public cloud rendering platform to maximize sharing of computing resources. High integration. It supports mainstream VFX software such as Blender, Maya, 3ds Max, etc., and can be customized on other software compatibility according to users' requirement. Intelligent Scene Analysis Service. Via Intelligent Screen Analysis Service, it does not need any intervention of users and obtains the rendering tasks information on software, plugin, lens, output resolution, texture, etc. automatically. Quantum Cloud Rendering Platform has other advantages. Multi-node rendering. To speed up rendering process, we provide the following ways. First, multiple scenes of certain tasks can be submitted to different computing resource nodes for rendering. Second, the whole frames of one animation shot will be allocated to different computing resource nodes for synchronized rendering. Intelligent scheduling. Our server cluster management system has its own independent intellectual property and copyrights. It is handy and fast, intelligently dispatches and allocates cluster computing resources on balance, and ensures rendering tasks will be completed on time. Stable and reliable. The rendering cluster server system can work continuously and uninterruptedly for 7 by 24 hours with stability and reliability to meet the rendering needs of VFX artists in any region. Enter the product login address. Enter the username and password correctly and click Login. Now you can see the system interface of normal user in Enterprise. The features here include overview, material management, sharing by others, link sharing, and transmission management. In the overview page, you can check personal storage usage and storage status and obtain files transmission results via month selection. In material management, users can update their personal material storage and check files according to their file type, like image, video, documents, and others. Click the Link Share button on the file or folder to freely share the file or folder with others. Set the extraction password and expiration time. Click Copy Link and Password to make it. Click on the link to share and quickly find the shared file and cancel sharing with one click. Click on the sharing button for the document. Select the account and update its permission, and we can make it shareable. The other side clicks sharing can check the shared folder and do their own authorized operation. In transmission management, the user can create the transmission task, and the sender clicks the creation task, selects the file and receiver. While the receiver logs in the systems, he can select the file in transmission management to receive it. Here is the introduction of normal user part. Let's look at how enterprise administrators manage the entire system. This is the enterprise administrator system interface. Besides the features of material management, file sharing, transmission, and other functions described above, the enterprise administrators can view the operation log records and login logs of all members of the company in log queries. And the administrator has rights to edit enterprise information, enterprise member accounts, and enterprise storage in user management. In addition, the system supports Windows client, It will be faster to user clients for uploading and downloading files. All these are the introduction of Quantum Force Net Data. Thanks for watching. First, we enter the username and password. Click Login. After logging in, we jump to the storage management of the Access Management Center. We need to add the storage device first and the storage device. Then synchronizing the storage. This is an important step here. When it's done, we can check the material management to make sure that the synchronization is successful. After confirmation, we can access to the account management module to give certain normal user permissions to visit. Also, we can review normal user list you updated right then. Our platform has 4 features at present. 1. Intelligence analysis and prediction. 2. Shared AI model store. 3. Easy-to-use AI model training platform. 4. Intelligence image generation platform. Let's try the first one. Click on the Smart Analysis, then add the file. Select a certain video or image file, and you can analyze the corresponding results. Besides obtain analysis results in this way, we can also make custom analysis. Click on the Material Management, choose the video file, and then select the custom analysis. Here we can choose all kinds of models, such as the illegal one. In addition, we also can use the custom type, which will set up 1 or more video segments to analyze certain part of it. Click on the analysis. Because the video file is large, maybe it would take some time to finish the analysis. Okay, let's look at the video analysis. Clicking on the details, there are 2 illegal segments in this video, and on this page, we can check the description of them in detail. We can also preview the image and a video to check the illegal parts. And here is the second feature, AI model training platform. We aim to pursue a user interface that is easy to use. Creation of artificial intelligence models by non-professionals through an easy-to-use user interface. Via a simple use interface, our training platform can make it easier for non-specialists to create AI model.
Thanks for everyone.